After receiving God's command at the burning bush, Moses returned to his father-in-law Jethro. With humility, he asked for permission to return to Egypt, where his own people still lived in slavery. Jethro understood the importance of Moses' journey. He blessed him and said, "Go in peace." With renewed courage, Moses prepared to obey the Lord. The Lord reminded Moses that those who had once sought to kill him were no longer alive. The time had come to return without fear, for God himself would go before him. Moses took his wife Zipporah and their 2 sons. Placing them on a donkey, he began the long journey toward Egypt, carrying the staff of God in his hand. The road was long and filled with uncertainty, yet every step reminded Moses that he was no longer walking alone. The Lord was leading him toward the mission that would change history. As they stopped for the night along the journey, an unexpected moment revealed the seriousness of God's covenant. Moses had neglected the covenant of circumcision, and his family faced a sudden crisis. That night, at a lonely lodging place, something unexpected happened. The Lord confronted Moses, reminding him that his covenant could never be ignored. It was a solemn moment that revealed the holiness of God's commands. Understanding the seriousness of God's covenant, Zipporah quickly circumcised their son. Her obedience brought the crisis to an end, and the family continued their journey. At the same time, the Lord spoke to Aaron in Egypt. Without delay, he set out into the wilderness, trusting God's voice to guide every step. At the mountain of God, Moses and Aaron finally met again. After 40 years apart, the 2 brothers embraced with joy, knowing the Lord himself had brought them together. Moses told Aaron everything the Lord had spoken at the burning bush and explained the miraculous signs God had entrusted to him. Together, Moses and Aaron entered Egypt once more. The land Moses had fled decades earlier now stood before him, waiting to witness God's mighty power. Moses and Aaron gathered the elders of Israel. For generations, the people had waited for deliverance. Now, hope quietly began to return. Aaron spoke the words the Lord had given, while Moses performed the miraculous signs. The elders watched in amazement as God revealed his power before their eyes. The people believed that the Lord had remembered his covenant. Hearing that God had seen their suffering, they bowed their heads and worshipped him. Soon, the time had come to stand before the most powerful ruler in the world. Moses and Aaron entered Pharaoh's magnificent palace, carrying only the authority of God. Standing before Pharaoh, Moses delivered God's message with unwavering courage. "Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, let my people go, that they may hold a feast to me in the wilderness." Pharaoh listened to Moses without fear or respect. His heart was filled with pride, and he refused to recognize the God of Israel. Pharaoh declared, "Who is the Lord, that I should obey his voice and let Israel go? I do not know the Lord, and moreover, I will not let Israel go." Moses and Aaron pleaded once more, "The God of the Hebrews has met with us. Please let us go a 3 days' journey into the wilderness to worship the Lord our God." But Pharaoh refused to listen. Instead of showing mercy, Pharaoh became angry. He accused Moses and Aaron of making the Hebrew slaves lazy and distracting them from their work. That very day, Pharaoh gave a cruel command. The Israelites would no longer receive straw for making bricks. They had to gather it themselves while producing the same number of bricks as before. Across Egypt, Hebrew slaves scattered through the fields, desperately searching for dry straw. The work became nearly impossible, but Pharaoh demanded the same results. When the daily quota was not met, the Egyptian overseers beat the Hebrew foremen without mercy. Their suffering grew even greater than before. The Hebrew foremen went before Pharaoh, begging for mercy, but Pharaoh blamed them instead, calling them lazy and sending them back to work. Leaving Pharaoh's palace, the Hebrew leaders found Moses and Aaron waiting outside. Filled with disappointment, they cried, "May the Lord judge you. You have made Pharaoh hate us even more." Heartbroken, Moses turned to the Lord. "O Lord, why have you allowed this suffering? Ever since I came to Pharaoh, the people have suffered even more." Yet Moses continued to trust the one who had called him. The Lord answered Moses with words of hope. He reminded him of his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and promised, "I will bring my people out from under the burdens of Egypt. I will redeem them with an outstretched arm." Moses returned to the people of Israel and repeated every promise the Lord had spoken. But their hearts were crushed by suffering. Their heavy burdens left them unable to believe that freedom was near. The Lord spoke once more. He commanded Moses to return to Pharaoh and demand the freedom of his people. Though discouraged, Moses chose to obey. Moses answered the Lord, "If the people of Israel would not listen to me, why would Pharaoh?" Yet God did not withdraw his calling. Once again, Moses and Aaron entered Pharaoh's magnificent palace. This time, God would display his power before the entire royal court. At God's command, Aaron threw down his staff before Pharaoh. Instantly, it became a living serpent. Pharaoh summoned his magicians. Through their secret arts, they also caused their staffs to appear as serpents. Then Aaron's serpent swallowed every serpent of the Egyptian magicians. The Lord had shown that his power was greater than all the wisdom of Egypt. Even after witnessing the miracle with his own eyes, Pharaoh refused to listen. His heart remained hard, just as the Lord had said. The next morning, God sent Moses to meet Pharaoh beside the Nile River. There, Egypt would witness the beginning of his mighty judgments. Moses declared the word of the Lord. "By this you shall know that I am the Lord." Yet Pharaoh refused to humble himself. Aaron stretched out the staff over the waters of the Nile. In an instant, the river turned into blood before the eyes of Pharaoh and all Egypt. The fish died. The river became foul. Across Egypt, every stream, canal, pond, and reservoir turned to blood. The people searched desperately for fresh water. Even after witnessing the first plague, Pharaoh hardened his heart. He turned away and returned to his palace. This was only the beginning. The God of Israel had spoken, and Egypt would soon witness even greater signs.